This is Oft Off Topic, a show where two men with the attention spans of a squirrel try and fail to stay on topic with today's subject. Where will their oral meanderings take us? Well, stick around and listen, because today's Oft Off topic is the Jenny Nicholson Star Wars hotel experience, as will be experienced by Nathan Townsend and his family. So a few months ago, long-form YouTube content creator and Star Wars superfan Jenny Nicholson recently uploaded a 4-hour video chronicling her adventures at the famed Disney Star Wars luxury hotel. And I decided it'd be fun if I took her experience and stuck you, Nathan, and your family in the middle of all this and see how you would react to what she experienced on this hotel excursion. Nate, what do you know about the Star Wars hotel?
I mean, I knew they were making it, and then I heard it wasn't very good. So that was, I mean, that is the beginning and end of it. And obviously, anybody's listening to this, they know I'm into Star Wars, so.
Yep. Say, if you did have a bunch of money, like, just floating around like you're rich Nathan Townsend, would you have taken your family to this hotel when it popped up?
Of course.
You saw it and you're like, I got the money. Should we do this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, if it was the world where I had, a bunch of expendable income, they're like, hey, Star Wars experience. I'm like, well, sign me up.
Okay, cool. I figured that'd be the answer. I would have done it too, because, hey, why not? It's an experience if nothing else. So, are you ready, Nate, to learn about the Star Wars Hotel?
Let's go.
We start back in April 2017, and at the behest of Disney, Swagbucks releases a survey to its users asking them if they would be interested in staying at a multi-day Star Wars-themed Disney resort. Because apparently, when Disney thinks of people with money to burn, they think of Swagbucks users. The survey showed concept art of the hotel, along with mentioning things like Swagbucks.
What's Swagbucks?
Swagbucks it used to be a website, it might be an app now, but it's one of those where you go on there and you complete surveys and you get quote-unquote swagbucks that you can use to buy gift cards. It's one of those setup things. It's something that very poor people use, typically.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I have the Google one, but it's just like for...
Yeah, Swagbucks was kind of like the original one on that, but instead of Google Play, you could like get Amazon gift cards and stuff, but it was kind of a scam. It's not really the people you think of when you're thinking of a multi-$1,000 resort that you'd peg for input.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Swagbucks was pretty big, 10 years ago or so. They've kind of dropped off since then, but pretty sure they're still around. This Swagbucks survey showed concept art of the hotel, along with mentioning things like luxury accommodations and amenities set aboard a starship in the Star Wars universe. All meals would be included during your stay: buffet, breakfast, lunches, and signature evening dinners. Featured entertainment and dinner shows, and exclusive park admissions to the Star Wars-themed land at the Walt Disney World Resort, which I think was a new thing that they opened just around that time, which I believe was one you went and saw down in Florida, correct?
Yes. I had a serious problem with the Millennium Falcon run. I got like motion sick, along with like just straight up panic attack. It was awful. But and then with the Star Tours, I went to it as a kid, and I went to it with my other two kids, and it was like I got sick on that. I'm like, damn it, stop getting sick. But the Star Wars Rise of the Resistance,
Skywalker,
that
Rise
was
of
amazing.
Resistance, yes.
That was amazing. That's so cool. Anyway.
Yep. We'll actually go over those in a little bit later on in this episode. And also, non-drowsy Dramamine apparently helps people in your condition.
Yeah, I need to invest and get some of that, because I have that VR headset from PlayStation. I would love to play more than 5 seconds before I start getting sick. I don't know. Like there's the Resident Evil game I have on there.
Dramamine helps. Thanks to that tip to superfan Dave Moon. Hi, Dave. Anyways.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
Yep. The Star Wars Starship would also include amenities like a pool area, a water garden, a fitness area, an onboard cantina, and even robotic droid butlers. And of course, what do you think robotic droid butlers at Disney? You immediately go back to thinking in the 60s when Disney tried those monkey butlers and all those kids got mauled. Good times. It may or may not have been made up by me right there.
I'm going to say, honestly, I can't tell if that was made up or not.
Yeah, honest to God, monkey butlers mauling kids in the 60s and Disney covering it up, that sounds like something that probably happened.
That's great, eh? I mean, I'm assuming they're like R2-D2 units, or, what are they? Astromech units, because they're not all R2-D2. But astromech units running around, because that's, I mean, hell, I go to, there's a restaurant around here. It's a Japanese fusion restaurant. I don't know it's fusing to, but they have that with little robot that comes out and has a little tray. Like, here you go. So it has a little face on it.
The concept art I sent you, one of the things that shows the inside of a cantina. Also, Google the concept art, people listening, if you want to see what we're talking about. And one of the cantina scenes does show like a robotic bartender and like robots walking around holding drinks and stuff, and little BB ball unit in the background.
One
And also,
thing I would wonder is is it everyone's dressed up in Star Wars? Is that mandatory? Like, okay, if you stay at this hotel, you must wear these.
cosplaying is optional, but it's kind of encouraged because as part of this immersive Star Wars experience, you get to live in the Star Wars universe and get to be part of a branching storyline featuring character actors that would come up and react to you and what you're doing on the ship and how you've been reacting to them. It'd basically be a Star Wars LARPing thing that you do or do not have to dress up for. Does that sound kind of interesting now? You'd be going up to like the bartender and he'd be giving you stuff like missions and this and that and talking to you like you're a real person in the universe. Pretty snazzy.
I don't know. I'm having mixed feelings about that because, like, on one hand, I wouldn't mind like going up. If I approach someone and they react to me like in character, fine. But if I have some dude roll up to me and like, "Hey, the squirrel eats at midnight," like what? Like,
You're just gonna stare at that dude and just slowly back away.
Yeah, like I don't know, man.
The guy'd be like, "You don't understand. This is part of the quest, man. Play along." You're like, "Okay, homeless person who looks crazy, leave me alone." So the survey asked if people would be willing to spend $900 to $1,000 on such a trip. And as an avid Swagbooks user, Nate, you stared at this concept with lust in your eyes and clicked the "Yes, I would do this" button. Apparently, you were not the only one who did that, because 3 months later at the 2017 D23 Expo, Disney CEO Bob Chapek announced that the Star Wars theme hotel would be a reality. They showed some more concept art and used some buzzwords like immersive adventure experience and authentic. They use authentic a lot. But not much more. Basically just some notes to get the shareholders and fans excited, including you, Nate. You're getting a little more excited because you know this is going to happen. You're going to go.
Authentic what? Like,
Just
it's not
authentic
it's
experience, authentic Star Wars, authentically Disney.
right.
2019. Disney announces that Star Wars theme hotel will be a reality and will be open to Disney Hollywood Studios in Florida. Turns out there's a Hollywood in Florida too. Did not know that before I did this. This announcement goes into more detail about what everything will entail. We get more cool concept art. Stuff like you'll be showing up at a space terminal and then you'll be shuttled on a personal little private shuttle to the starship, the Halcyon. There will be space windows, interactive environments, branching storylines, and they tell you that this is your chance to live out a Star Wars adventure of your own. You'll get an immersive adventure experience, the likes of which only Disney and its deep, deep pockets can attain. Still not a lot of info, just the fact you're going to be as part of a immersive adventure experience. Kind of like more stuff to get the shareholders excited.
That sounds like a Westworld thing. Like, oh, we're gonna take you up there, adventures. You can shoot stormtroopers and etc.
This is actually kind of what they're building up, is literally like a Westworld kind of thing. This is kind of what they're hyping it to be at this point. Also, they even have one fancy selling point for the hotel that comes up next. A commercial, and it just has Rey standing there with a lightsaber. But just like in the movies, the lightsaber extends up from the handle, just like in the movies, just like a vooshum. And they'd be like, "Hey man, we finally have real lightsabers that do real lightsaber things. And you'll be able to experience these first at the Disney Star Wars Hotel." But yeah, instead of like the usual lightsabers you see that's very obviously like a LED light or whatever, or just something that turns on. This one very obviously is like zoom. Kind of neat, kind of cool looking.
I mean, I don't know. I
know
doubts,
it's a selling point that they had to come up with.
Yeah, I have doubts, but why not?
Yep. And also, if you're thinking to yourself, "Hey, it'd be kind of cool to buy that souvenir." Nope, not a souvenir. It's going to be literally there for just demonstration purposes only. You'll get to see it, but not touch it.
It's like a strip club. The Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars. Star Wars strip
Wars
club. You can look, but not touch.
Do not touch Cy Snoodle. She does not like it.
Well, it's one or two things. She either doesn't like it or likes it entirely too much.
August 2021, and the first real ad comes out. It's a short teaser showing a dad dressed as a Jedi and his excited family waiting for him to lead them on adventure. You see this, Nate, and you get a tear in your eye. You can finally live your dreams of being a Jedi, and also overcompensate for your own lackluster childhood by forcing childhood experiences upon your own family. Because, damn it, that's what Disney commercials say you're supposed to do. You had a crappy childhood? Well, better make sure your kids isn't, or you failed as a parent. Da-na-na. Also, that same day, they dropped the prices, and people are not impressed by these prices, being a little bit higher than most would expect. And but Nate, you can't put a price tag on happy childhood memories. And even though it's going to be close to like, $1,500 or so, it's still worth it. Now you can live vicariously through your children like all Gen X parents do as you go on this trip.
Hell of a price hike. From like $900 to $1,000 to $1,500. I mean,
yep.
Was that 50% more?
Yep, 50% increase, I would say. Actually, that's exactly about a 50% increase.
Yeah. So it's not about. Remove about. Just like 50.
Then they also do a info dump on stuff that will actually be happening, exhibits and whatnot that you can do on the ship. They show off a lightsaber training room where you get an actual lightsaber and you get to practice, blocking shots like Luke Skywalker does in front of that little drone thing.
Yeah.
They're going to have kind of one of those little flying ball training things, but you get to participate into it. That's kind of neat, huh? And then the
Well,
Disney exec actually shows off how it works, and he does like the most bland, stiff, and mechanical looking display of the star lightsaber thing you've ever seen. He just like literally stands there and just like stiff arm moves his lightsaber left and right very slowly, and looks pretty lame. But you think to yourself, I'm not going to look that lame when I do it. I'm going to show how it's done. You have visions of twirling and doing backflips in your mind while you're blocking laser blasts.
yeah, you definitely would think you look cooler than you do. I know that from
Yeah.
personal experience. I'm sure you have too. Well, like playing
Yes.
playing the fucking VR game. Oh, what is it? Beat Saber.
Beat Saber.
Oh my god. I was like, I'm playing it. I'm like, man, I bet I look awesome. Like I'm doing this and doing that. I'm like, this is pretty impressive. And then little did I know, my middle child Ivy took a video of me and I watched it. I'm like, oh my god, it looks stupid as hell.
Yeah, my favorite with VR too is when you're not paying attention where you are and you've slowly moved across the room and you wind up punching a wall. That's always alarming and painful.
Well, I've been seeing advertisements for that little floor thing where if you walk, you stay still. You're talking about?
That thing?
Yeah.
That new Disney thing. That thing's kind of neat. No, I'm just talking about when you're like playing VR and you just kind of like naturally move over to the side because you can't see what's going on.
I'll talk about like I'm sure at some point it's gonna be released.
Oh, that pad thing.
Yeah, the pad. Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm sure it's worth more than the fucking house I'm living in, but yeah, it's still
I think there's only like one or two of those in the world too. It's like a Disney exclusive thing.
One day
we get one more promo coming up from Disney hyping up the whole thing, and this one includes Hollywood superstar Sean Giamone. You might not know him, but he's the kid from the Goldbergs, and he goes around showing you more stuff you get to do on the ship. And what's actually kind of a really lame ad. They show you basically this commercial culminates to they show that you get to do the one thing every Star Wars person always dreamed of doing in the entire history of the series. Nate, force choke someone? Nope. He gets to quote unquote punch it to light speed. And he gets to walk up to a console and slam a button, and the stars around go all woogie woogie, and the ship goes woo. And he runs around all excited. And they're like, "Yeah, you'll get to do this at the hotel." And it's actually kind of lame looking, but I guess some people really want to punch it to light speed. Maybe that's their life dream. But
I mean, there's the same people they're like, oh, everyone loves Han Solo. Don't you remember when he pushed to light speed or punched to light speed? I mean,
punch it, Chewie.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, commercial ends with like a 2-minute long section of a Twilight singer just singing awkwardly at the camera. The ad was so bad, 2 weeks later it was pulled from the internet. It's hard to find now. In fact, as far as pulled ads go, there was another ad that popped up later that was showing the storylines you can go through. And one of the storylines they showed is the fact that you could get Chewbacca thrown into jail. And this apparently got a bunch of outcry over people being like, you can't throw Chewbacca in jail. He's a good guy. That's going to make my children cry. So they scrapped that ad and pulled it from the internet. Because, apparently people are a little oversensitive about throwing Chewie into jail. Because the main part of that ad was you could actually play with the Empire. You don't have to be part of the rebel scum.
See, and that's cool. I mean,
that is cool.
It would probably still end up being lame, but it's like, that's actually impressive. Like, that was my biggest gripe about the Star Wars Battlefront 2 that came out. All the advertisers were saying, oh, join the Empire, be this person. Look at this badass person going through shooting rebels. Yeah, fuck those guys. And then almost immediately, she's like, oh, the Empire's bad. I want to join the rebellion. Like, I don't want to join the rebellion. I want to be the bad guys. Can we please be the bad guys?
I have the cool outfits. I want to live in the giant cool Star Destroyers. I don't want to be living with the Ewoks. Bastards.
Oh, we don't want people to be upset about Chewbacca. Well, then just, I don't know, get over it.
They also have a behind-the-scenes panel where they go into more details talking about the storylines and stuff. And basically it breaks down to you can either be a spy, part of, the Resistance, or the Empire. So those are basically 3 factions you can go over, or you can be part of. And one thing about this panel, because they show you clips of it, is they talk about a lot. One thing they keep saying is they're like, and they'll maybe ask you to do stuff like smuggle some luggage or smuggle some plans across the. They use the term smuggle like 8 or 9 times in about 2 minutes. So you kind of assume right there it's going to be a lot of smuggling missions going on this adventure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. It's like, of the people they have, particularly in the video games, you have several different. You have, here's the Force user, here's the soldier, and then here's the smuggler, and you can't really get people using the force because even if it was fake, that requires a lot of setup and acting. But then if you do the soldier, that would require like I don't know, specking people out. Hey, here's some armor and here's a gun, a fake gun, but a gun. And then the smuggler can just look like anybody. So they're like, yeah, you're a smuggler. Yeah, that's the ticket.
Right. All right, we are at March 1st, 2022, and the Star Wars Hotel has finally opened up. Nate, you have bought your tickets, and you're ready to go there and have the immersive adventure experience of your life. By the way, these tickets, it turns out by the time everything showed up for everything was done and the hotel got opened, the experience became a whole lot more expensive than anybody ever thought it would, including for you. So we're going to break it down. Okay, so here's the deal. Jenny Nicholson went there with her and her sister. So basically, I'm just going to extrapolate what cost her across for, your 5 family members. So for this 3-day and 2-night excursion for you, your wife, and 3 children, the total is going to come to $15,000 for the whole family to have this experience.
You don't see me, I'm shaking my head.
Yep, it is $15,000. And it should also be noted, this is for the cheapest package available that you bought your family. You could have paid as much as 4 times the experience, too, for all like the VIP packages and whatnot. And you would have gotten fancy rooms and some other stuff. But not only is it super expensive, apparently booking this thing was a nightmare, Nate, especially for you. Because you know why? You could only book it by phone call. On top of that, once you called in, it wasn't just ask them some questions. It was like they hammered you with questions right off the bat. As soon as you called up, they're like, how many guests? What date? This, that? What is your plans? What's your intentions? Tell us everything about you. Yeah. Oh, no, I made that part up.
I'm going to say,
basically, you get grilled, And next thing you know, they're just like, well, what kind of room do you want? And you go, well, what kind of rooms do you have? They're like, all of them. What do you want? So it's just a nightmare to book the thing. And again, all through phone. There is no online booking for this.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. And all this was also after being on hold for a good long while because there was a lot of people calling at the time. But yeah, how do you do just phone call only? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's just a lot of extra little things to nail down.
And this was recent. This isn't like the 80s or 90s. I mean, this was
right? Like... This is 5 years ago. One thing they also get you on is a $169 upsell package that they call the Memory Maker Package Add-on. So they have roaming photographers that'll be going around taking candid photos of everybody on the ship, during experiences like, oh, here, they're in the middle of a quest. We're going to take a secret picture of them. And then all those photographers will upload their pictures and you'll get tagged in all the pictures you're in. And if you pay this $169, you can go onto a website, find all the pictures you're tagged in, download them in super high quality and have them printed up, yada, yada, yada. Sounds kind of neat. But you decide to do this because you don't want to spend time taking pictures. You're just like, you know what? Cool. Have somebody else take pictures. I don't want to live inside of my phone, because you know how that kind of happens. You become a photo taker. Yeah. You wind up like just staring at a phone screen. Mm-hmm. So you're like, hey, this is kind of cool. Now I don't have to worry about taking pictures. Neat.
Kind of opposite happened to me recently where I would try to like not take, when things are happening, actually watching them versus like taking pictures with my phone. Now I found that I actually don't have a lot of pictures. Like, oh, how many pictures do you have? I'm like, oh, I got like 2, maybe.
Here I am, and here's what was happening. Now I'm just going to pay attention. Because you also take a lot of those pictures, and you think to yourself, I'm going to look at them later. I'll show them to other people, but you never do.
No, that's another thing I realized. Like, it's just not, very, very rarely are you ever whipping out the 2,000 images you have on your phone.
Right.
Never mind whatever you might have saved on a computer. And go, oh, hey, let me show you what, like, oh, I went there. Look at all my family pictures of me going to this place and doing that thing. Like, no one cares. And so, yeah, you're wasting your time.
Yes, exactly. Off topic life tip. Don't record fireworks and stuff like that. Nobody cares.
Well, it's like that one comedian, Jim Gaffigan. He's not my favorite, but I do like some of the things he says. And no, it's not Jim Gaffigan. Is it?
Hot Pocket.
Yes, it is him. And he was like, I have more pictures than my dad even looked at me.
This is
so
true.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things I heard that made me think, maybe I don't need all these pictures. Because I mean, because I was scrolling through my phone, like pictures the other day. I'm just like, I've got well over 1,000 pictures in here, and I have no fucking clue. And of course, there's pictures of like the kids, but along with pictures of like, I took a picture of what's in the grocery cart to make like, hey, Jenny, is everything here that we need to get? Or like I took a screenshot of a movie I was going to go see, and it's still just mixed in there. Yeah, I just never deleted it. So yeah, it's just, yeah. So I paid for the product. So basically what happened was I paid for the privilege of someone take pictures of me and then give it to me later. Correct?
This is correct.
Okay.
So everything's booked, and all of a sudden you get your email that encloses a schedule in it, and you realize everything here is going to be very strictly regimented because, there's going to be events and shows going on and this and that and quests to do. So they have everything planned out for you. The schedule is pretty much like this. Check-in is at 1 p.m. on day 1 and out at 10 a.m. on the 3rd day. Your schedule is going to show you events that happen around and guide you around the hotel from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed. And once there's a bedtime, quote unquote, and once that happens, like all the actors go to bed, and it's just becomes a standard hotel. You can wander around if you want. All the
so that's bedtime. Yeah, okay. So it's like, okay,
yeah, that's quote unquote bedtime. You don't have to go to bed. It's not like they lock you in your room and shut off the lights and they're like, good night.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, no, you must go to bed. You paid for a full experience. A part of this experience is get your ass to bed.
Yeah, yep. But meals are regimented. Meals are at such and such hours. Story events are at these exact times. Be there, be square. On the 2nd day, you get shuttled to the Hollywood Studios Star Wars attraction for 7 hours in the middle of the day to do some adventuring there. And the cool thing, too, is they advertise you getting taken there from the hotel, from your ship, to the park in a space pod complete with droid pilot. That sounds kind of neat. Your own little shuttle going there. And you also get a free...
Are you on top of a bus?
You'll find out in a minute. You also get a free fast pass to the Millennium Falcon ride and the Rise of the Resistance. And you also get the promise of more immersive adventure experiences as you do quests around that park for those 7 hours. So you look over the schedule and you realize, since it's all strictly regimented, you can kind of break down how many hours you're going to be there, and you can break it down into how much money you're spending per minute there. So Jenny Nicholson actually did this math. So naturally, we're going to deduct some showering time and sleeping time and the such. But here's how the hours break down. Day 1, from 1 p.m. to 8:45 p.m., you're going to be doing 7 hours, 45 minutes of fun time. Day 2, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., 16 hours of fun time. That's a long day, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Day 3, 8:30 to 10 a.m., 1 hour, 30 minutes. That gives you 25 hours, 15 minutes of activity time. And at $3,033.44 per person divided by 25.25 hours, and you get $120 an hour or $2 a minute per person. So for your family of 5, you'll be paying $10 per minute while you're at this hotel. This entire immersive adventure experience will be $10 per minute if you're just, even if you're just staying there waiting in line, $10 per minute. I know, sounds expensive, but as Disney and its army of influence will tell you, a Broadway play isn't cheap, luxury resorts aren't cheap, and this is like both of these smushed together, and you're the star of it, Nathan. Not them, you. Now tell me, $10 a minute sounds pretty cheap at that point, doesn't it?
Man, that's like $10 a minute. Like that. I don't know. Like
$10 per minute. Yep. So after 7 minutes, you could buy yourself the new Star Wars Outlaws game.
Oh, right.
Yeah, right.
Like, because you're $10 by itself. Like, oh, it's $10. That's high. That's low enough to like, oh, that's only $10. But also high enough like to maybe go, do you really want to get that?
$600 an hour apparently.
Yeah, I mean, but once you start actually once you kind of like internalize, like, no, it is $10 a minute. And
a minute, yeah, I know it really hits home when you're like per minute.
And like fair, a minute is longer than you think it is, but it's not. It's still.
It's not that long.
Yeah, it's not that long.
Especially if it's like you're sitting at dinner waiting for your dinner to show up, and you're like, wow, this is costing me $10 per minute. I'm sitting here for me and my family. So now, okay, let's picture do a dramatic Hollywood thing. And now I want a cutaway scene, and it needs to go to wherever undelivered emails go to. And with a dramatic music sting, it zooms in on one email that's been addressed to you and from the Disney hotel. Because apparently you never got this email or you never saw it, but there was another option that email that showed up that gave you even more upgrade options. Stuff like the $30 per person upgrade at the captain's table for dinner. And another thing that would upgrade to your own personal photographer that would wander around with you for a half hour for $400. But you never got this email, so you never had a chance to upgrade to those things. But
why did I not get this email?
Yeah, actually, we never find out. Actually,
oh,
I mean, yeah, that's one of the great mysteries of this episode for Jenny Nicholson. She's just like, that email never showed up. I don't know why. But yeah, private photographer for 30 minutes for $400. That's kind of expensive too.
That's actually a lot.
But yeah. I mean, professional photographers are expensive, but for $400,
totally.
I feel like you'd get one for an afternoon or something.
If
not
you're
30 minutes.
If you're paying $400 for a professional photographer like your wedding, $400 is reasonable.
Yes.
But if you're paying
30 minutes where they're being hustled to take pictures of you and stuff.
Yeah, and they're not getting to know you. They're just like, okay, I'm here. Click, 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 click. All right, cool. Bye. Because they're not
30
even getting
minutes, your professional photographer shows up for the 30 minutes and you're in the can the entire time.
and how professional. I highly doubt they're going out there and like interviewing people and looking at resumes.
And these aren't the photographers from Vogue, I'm guessing.
Yeah, my guess is like it's some college kid who needs some money, and they're like, "Here's how you use your camera. There, you're a professional." They go out there, they take pictures. You're getting paid for this, so you're technically professional.
Yeah, technically, if you get paid for anything, you're a professional, even if it's once and you do a bad job. Professional doesn't mean good; it just means you make money off of it. So the time has come, Nate. It's time to go to the hotel to your Star Wars immersive experience. You grab your wife and 3 kids and you boogie off to the ultimate immersive adventure experience at the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser. There was a bit where they had like influencers like trying to hype up the thing for people, but they couldn't just say the Star Wars Cruiser, the Star Wars Hotel. But like contractually, they're obligated to say the ultimate immersive adventure experience at the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser. And you know how awkward that sounds when people try to say that in casual conversation like they were doing?
Yeah, was it every
like,
time? Like you can't say just the Star Wars Hotel. You have to say all that.
Yep, every time they did, they actually did kind of like a little jump cut of all the influencers trying to make it sound natural. And so you think about all the wondrous things that await you ahead, all the splendid memories to come, and finally you arrive at the starport, where you shall wait in luxury until a shuttle ship whisks you away to your destination, the grand ship Halcyon. In case you're wondering why they picked the Halcyon as the ship that they're going to do, because, it's not a hotel, you're on a spaceship. But anyways, they picked the Halcyon is because it was in all 3 of the trilogy time frames. So if they wanted to like retool the ship to be in different eras, they could pretty easily. If they wanted to be during the prequels or the standard era or the later ones. So, also it kind of makes it like a center point for stories, I guess.
Fair.
Yeah. So you arrive at your luxury starport that they promised you, where you get to wait in neat sci-fi aesthetics. Oh, wait, did I say a luxury starport? No, actually, when you get there, it turns out the waiting area is a concrete parking lot in the back areas of the Disney lots. And you are standing there in the concrete area in the scorching Florida heat as the sun beats down on you and your family. You are also surrounded by tons of other people who were expecting to be in a nice air-conditioned starport, but nope, just a lot of people looking really hot and pissy with impatient, bored kids running around. And you look at the schedules you were given. Was it? Yeah, it's hot and muggy, and everybody looks pissed.
I bet you more than once a minute you hear someone going, "I paid a ton of money. We need like."
I mean, you're in line for $10 a minute at this point, so
yeah, like y'all need to like do something.
Yep. You look at your schedule you're given. It reads as follows: 1 o'clock, arrive at terminal. 1:15 to 1:30, launch pad to Star Cruiser. 1:45 to 2:15, ship orientation. 3 to 3:30, light refreshments. 3:30 to 4, sabacc lessons. So you see how scheduled this is for you now? 4 to 4:30, and it says muster, which in this context means meetings, I guess. So like probably a story thing. 4:30 to 5, captain's reception. 5:30 to 7, dinner featuring live music. 7:15 to 7:30, Outer Rim Regala. 7:30 to 8, unexpected story moment. 8 to 8:45, bridge training. 8:30 to 8:45, special atrium entertainment. And some of these do have like little gaps in between where you can give you time to get from point A to point B, so you can go see the ship and experience some certain things. And naturally, you don't have to do all these things on this list. You could hang out and just chill if you want.
But you're paying $10 a minute.
Thank you. You actually pretty much stole the next line right out.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good because you're on the same page as me. So about 40 minutes you're in line waiting to get inside the starport, listening to kids scream and adults bitch. Somewhere along the way, the Disney overlords see you and feign pity, and they send down space Dasani to cool you down. As you sip your George Lucas flavored Dasani, you look at your family and see how they're handling the combination of heat and boredom. A blank, neutral expression covers their faces, and they stare silently at nothing. I just picture your family just being like, "God damn it."
Oh yeah, they'd be so annoyed. And I guarantee you more than once to be like, under our breath, $.
We could be home in an air-conditioned house right
now. Oh my
god. Finally, you make it inside. To see why it was taking so long to get into your spaceport. So you basically this spaceport to get into your space pod to go to the ship. The space pod is just an elevator, and you're all just standing in basically a waiting area with like 2 elevators in front of you. So you stand in line for 40 minutes to get funneled into this tiny little lobby where you just hop on an elevator and it takes you up to the Halcyon. Neat. So yeah, that's your space pod. It's an elevator. And also, the space pod only goes to the 2nd floor, so... Oh no, sorry. I should have looked further down. It's only 1 elevator, and that's why it's a long line. Thankfully, you're towards the front of the line because you got there kind of early. But there is a line as long as you can see behind you of people in the hot space sun drinking space Dasani.
Space Sun.
Space sun, yes. But before you actually get on the elevator, you get an intro video that's basically there to explain to you that there's a real emergency alarm and a story emergency alarm, and the difference between the two of them. And apparently, this is a good thing because other themed LARPing parks don't necessarily do that because they'll have a storyline alarm and then a hey shit's really going down alarm. And if they don't discern between the two of them, they sound close enough alike that they'll put off the story alarm and people will be running around and be like, "Oh my god, we're gonna die!" So they explain to you that there is a real emergency sound and a fake emergency sound. And they also mentioned something about if there is a real emergency about not trying to escape the fire, getting in a closet, and something or another. But don't resist. And they just jam you on an elevator, and up you go to the second floor. So now you're on the second floor, the Starship Halcyon.
Don't resist?
You'll see in a minute what they're talking about.
Okay.
As you get off the elevator, you're greeted by staff, and they hand you these little bracelets called M-bands. And these are little RFID bracelets that ID you as a guest. They also work as your room key, and you can attach a credit card to them to make buying stuff easier. Because if there's one thing Disney wants you to be able to do is buy stuff easily. And I guess they had these at Disney parks too. So nothing too fancy here.
Yeah, they definitely had that.
Yeah. Somebody escorts you to your room and gives you some fun facts about the ship and Star Wars history in general. And, one example is they show a picture of the little critter Yoda-sized guy who designed the ship, and they're like, hey, he's about the size of Baby Yoda, and there's one of the little doors he used to get around. There'll be like a little foot-tall door and whatnot in the corner.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Who?
Oh, they just give you fun facts about the ship. Like, apparently the guy who designed the ship was a, little Muppet-looking alien guy, and they'll give you, a little backstory on him and be like, oh, look, here's, the tiny little doors he installed in the ship so he can get around easier, and they'll just point at, a little door painted on the wall.
I thought for some reason my brain translated. You talk about Silicious Crumb or his people. I'm like, what? That's
just a standard small little guy.
Yeah,
I said about Baby Yoda sized, but
okay. Well, that seems small. That's smaller even Ugnaught. So I don't know. I mean, they're making their own shit up. Why not?
Yeah. I could just picture you being on this tour and be like, wait, stop. Who built this ship? No. As you're really lecturing this poor worker on Salacious Crumb.
There's a funny little Robot Chicken sketch where these mice are walking through this corridor and this the wall slams shut and kills one of them. They're like, no, and they gather a bunch of their friends and they're like, what, this door, this thing has been a plague upon us. We're gonna stop this, and it starts opening up, and they're working so hard to keep the door from closing all the way, to kill them all. And it cuts to it's the door at the end of with the Star Wars. No, I lost it. Rogue One, where Darth Vader's going to slaughter all the people, and they're trying to escape with the plans, and the mice are keeping the door from opening all the way up.
I can't say I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's humorous. Yeah, I wouldn't go so far to say it's hilarious, but it's pretty. It was pretty.
I got a sensible chuckle out of that skit.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. It was a very sensible chuckle.
You chuckle and go, oh, very good. Yes, very good.
I applaud your creativity. Now, moving on.
So they take you on a tour of the ship, and the first room you enter is the main room, known as the atrium. And here's where a lot of the story beats take place. There's a balcony around the top of the room for the actors to do their thing, so you can see them and hear them better. You can't get up there, but, they can. There's some cool glass tubes in there that have, actual holograms inside of them playing in-universe ads, like ads for the lounge and the singing act in the restaurant. Kind of neat little atmospheric stuff like that. As you look around, though, you are amazed by the amount of perfectly shin-height tables and couches and such things. As you're thinking about this, you see some stranger's kid bang their shin into the tables and yelps in pain. Ha, dumb kid, you think, and then you immediately get karma as you trip over one of those short couches. But no, seriously, outside this little blurb I did, all the couches are literally 2 or 3 feet tall with little shin-height tables that people are running into constantly. Because, you're not really looking down that often. A lot of people getting tripped.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
yeah,
I've got some scars on my shins.
Yeah. Another thing they got in there is a scale model of the ship. Nice and high quality. Pretty cool. There's a little snack bar in the area, too, where you get bites between meals like cereal, granola bars, goldfish, and the such. Snacks for kids. Cake pops are there, too.
Scale model, you can actually go in and do things, or it's just...
Oh
Hey,
no,
it's
this
not.
thing's like a foot long kind of thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the
I
scale
mean,
part. Okay,
yeah,
but
keep in
so
mind you're on the actual ship itself, so you're just looking at a
okay.
tinier version of the giant ship that you're on now, which is actually
I
just a
feel dumb.
hotel.
Yeah, it's scale model. It was in the name. It's
Yeah. That would be awesome if like here's a hotel ship. Now here's the west wing of it that's the actual ship or a model of the ship that you're in. I don't know.
what is the ship for ants?
Yeah. As you're being led around this room though, taking as much as you can, you kind of realize that this is basically just a big old windowless hotel, and instead of windows, they just put big old flat screen monitors on the walls. And those are basically just showing, space scenes, stars going by with the occasional ship floating by. And again, they're kind of all synced with each other. So that's kind of neat. So, like, you can watch one asteroid pass through a window and go through the other one. But you also kind of realize that it's all on a loop, too, after you watch it for like 30 seconds. Like, oh, there goes that same ship again going around the whole thing. Which, it's kind of cool, but it's also disappointing because if you look at the concept art, all the stuff they show is like these giant windows, like the size of walls and everything, showing you these giant, huge, open vastness of space, with planets off in the distance you can look down on. But nope, this is just a bunch of like 60-inch TVs, like on the top end of the hotel room, which probably one of the things they did that for, so people weren't like banging on the TVs all the entire time and damaging them. I don't know.
Yeah, people are dicks. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
that's
really
just the
are.
way it is. Like people are dicks if they're gonna if they have some way to break something, especially if it's not gonna fall back on them, they're gonna do it.
Kind of a bummer too, because if you want to take in the space atmosphere, you kind of just have to crane your neck up and stare upwards, which your neck gets pretty sore doing that pretty quick. And every once in
Yeah,
a while, over the intercom, you'll hear "going warp speed," followed by the warp speed sound effect being played over all the speakers. And then the stars on the windows do that warp speed effect, where they go whoop. And that's actually it. That's literally it. Just says "going to warp speed," plays a noise, shows the sign of the sight gag effect thing, and there's like no haptic feedback, no like vibrations on the floor or nothing. And honestly, it feels like it'd be really easy for them to like throw in a couple subwoofers under the floor or something to, give a little bit of vibration. Help it make it
something
feel
to
like the ship
sell
was
it.
doing something. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's just like going to warp speed, ring, and the stars just go whoop.
it's
Eh.
something you gotta sell it. You can't just
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
oh no, it's this. I mean, at that point, you might as well be like children in the playground. No, see, I got you. No,
Yeah, honestly,
I'm in
that's kind
armor
of what it's
now.
like. You might as well just be the kid on the jungle gym just screaming warp speed.
Yeah,
Rah! Yeah. And one thing you also notice too is how nice and luxurious this ship is. I mean, it's like top of the line stuff for the Star Wars universe. Which, if you think about Star Wars, you think about a lot of it being grim and gritty, and then all of a sudden it clicks in your head. Most of the grim and gritty stuff in Star Wars is on the good guy's side. You're in a nice high end ship. You might actually be one of the bad guys. Which
I
that's
mean,
actually a good point that you brought up in this. It's like, yeah, all the really like nice areas that people live in, that's the Empire area.
yeah, I
Every-
mean that is very true. I mean, even in the most recent, was it Andor? I mean, the same thing where it's just like that was the thing. The bad guys were all very clean.
Yep. Yeah, everything was clean and sterile and quote unquote evil, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, everything else, all the good guys are poor and dirty. And as you think about this, you think to yourself, are we the baddies? Sure hope so, you answer to yourself.
That's what I signed up for. I better hope so.
Yeah, right. As you pass through the atrium, you can see the bridge. It's actually inaccessible until the story unlocks it for you, but it sure looks cool in there. Big windows and lots of buttons to push and monitors and stuff. And you're really excited to see what goes on in there pretty soon. On your tour, you get passed by the gift shop. Naturally, there's a gift shop there, Nate. It's got in-world clothes shop where you can buy if you want to cosplay on the fly. Quality varies, but a lot of stuff sold out real fast, so if you didn't get in there right off the bat, you didn't get anything really. And also, one really weird thing, they don't sell plushies at this gift shop. So if any of your kids want a plushie, they are shit out of luck.
I mean, to be fair, my youngest has so many plushies that it's like
This is true.
we're
They're
kind
probably
of
doing us a
bagging 'em
favor
up.
for the parents because
But that being said, they definitely wouldn't want a plushie. We would probably still get them one if they wanted one. But yeah, that's the fact they don't even have it as an option. That's pretty shitty.
you do find yourself a badass $200 remote control droid you decide to buy as a souvenir. And because you don't want to hold on to it for the entire trip, you take it to the Disney shipping area and have it shipped safely to your house through the Disney packing experience or the Disney shipping experience. I guess you can do that if you buy souvenirs at Disney. You can have them shipped to your house so you don't have to like lug them around everywhere. That's kind of neat. You also see a really nice replica lightsabers for sale. You think to yourself, that'd be really cool to buy it and carry it around the ship as part of my cosplaying if I decide to do it. But one of the clerks overhears you and informs you that if you buy the lightsaber, You're only allowed to take it out of the package for one photo shoot, and then you got to take it back to your room and leave it there. They're not allowing people to carry around those particular lightsabers.
Why?
What? I don't know. She never got an answer either. So, uh
I mean, is it supposed to be like, well, we don't want a bunch of Jedis running around, but
yeah.
still. Like,
I mean, maybe we can just assume that they are actual real lightsabers and they don't want people getting their arms cut off. We'll go with that. They're real lightsabers. They don't want people like cutting up the whole hotel.
But then it goes to like, okay, then what's we all know this is not real. Like, let's go ahead and establish that this is not real. So I think we can all get behind the idea of, hey, maybe we can have lightsabers because Jedis aren't real. And
well, think of it this way. Maybe they're saving you time and money, because how many minutes would it take for you to pose and take pictures with that lightsaber? That'd be like $40 worth.
Overall?
Yeah. It took you 4 minutes to take those pictures. That's $40. Because remember, this is all $10 a minute. At the other end of the atrium is the lounge. It's small, a few tables in there. It does have some cool displays like creatures and floating tubes and the such, and some nice effects going on, lighting effects and this and that. And it's probably the coolest looking room on the ship aesthetics-wise. And that's also where the public restroom is, in case you need to do your space coke. Head downstairs and you come across the climate simulator, which is actually an open-air garden for people who get claustrophobic being in a windowless hotel all day. It's got fresh air, plants, and plaques on displays. And, it's got, like, quote-unquote, in-universe plants with little plaques telling stories and stuff. And in the middle...
Is it legit outside, or is it, like...
Yeah, it's outside? Like an open-area courtyard kind of thing. Because they realize that, some people do need to see the sun every once in a while. So, yeah, you go in there and it is actually... You look up and it's the sky. It might be covered up with glass, though, in case it rains and stuff, so... But also, in the middle of this room is a display with piles of rocks on top of a giant rock. Looks to be something story-oriented, and you think to yourself, and you'd be right. You never actually get to see it for yourself, but I guess there was like a use the Force activity if you did the right storylines in there. And they have people just like stand there and concentrate, and then somebody would hit a button and the little magnets would move the rocks around to get the kids to be all excited, be like, ooh, look, I used the Force. It's kind of cool.
If they're going to do something like that, it's better off, like, there was a pretty cool... Like, one of the only cool things that happened, the Mandalorian, where they're like, one of the dumber episodes where they like follow the Doctor for some reason on Coruscant, and like, there's this rock sticking up. They're like, oh yeah, this is the very top of a mountain. Like, this is the highest mountain on the planet below.
Because they just build up the city so tall.
Yeah, it's like, and that's the thing. Everyone lives on the top layer, and if you know Star Wars lore, like, that does go. The sub layers are basically like where the dregs go. The lower you go towards the planet.
They stole that from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. You know what? Sure, I'll get behind that. So
why not?
Why not? But yeah, so that would be cool. Like, oh look, this is the tippy top of the planet below because we're so high up.
I mean, it wouldn't make sense on a plane, I guess, but our ship is just stationed right over this mountain peak at all times.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I forgot it is on a ship. Never mind. Disregard.
Although I get what you say, that would be like a cool little thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like, oh, but yeah, you're right. I mean, if you're supposed to be on a ship, then that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. You also get to pass by the brig and that lightsaber training room where you get to do, the little training ball thing. And also down and around that area is the engineering room and the cargo hold. Both of those are locked because they only open during story mode things, but you excitedly ponder what might happen to those rooms. Especially the cargo hold, Nate, because lots of exciting Star Wars moments take place in the cargo holds. Actually, kind of do. I mean,
yeah, I'll never forget that scene where, the cargo hold.
I mean, the end of the original Star Wars, that was in the cargo hold where, what's his butt got cut down. What? I mean, pretty much the cargo hold is where they're always getting on and off the ships, I believe.
Yeah,
Think of all the entrance and exit scenes done on those cargo holds, Nathan.
I guess I never really thought about that. I guess that room is the cargo hold. I never really, I just knew it was happening on a ship.
Well, I mean, you're not a nautical guy, so you don't really know what these different places are. You just know poop deck makes you giggle.
Yeah, I do. And it does.
And that's going to do it for this episode. Tune in next episode when Nate and his family finally get to see their lodgings for the next 2 nights, as well as learning about their exciting upcoming activities. All this and more on next week's Oft Off Topic. This is where the ending jingle goes. This is where the ending jingle goes. I don't know if we need one. I don't know if we'll get one. But if we do, then here is where it goes.